I've presided over thousands of cases in my career. Financial disputes, property battles, family feuds over inheritances. But the day Sarah walked into my courtroom, I knew immediately this was going to be different. She was shaking, actually trembling as she sat down. And when I looked at the defendant's table and saw her sister Lisa sitting there with a smug smile on her face, I felt my stomach turn. Sarah had won the lottery, $3.2 million, and her sister had stolen it, every single penny. Let me explain how this happened, because it sounds impossible. Sarah had bought a lottery ticket at a gas station on her way home from work. Just a regular Tuesday. She'd been playing the same numbers for years, her kids' birthdays, her wedding anniversary, numbers that meant something to her. That night, she checked the results online and nearly had a heart attack. All 6 numbers matched. She'd won $3.2 million. Sarah was a nurse, single mother of 2 teenagers. She'd been working double shifts for years just to keep up with bills. This money was life-changing. It meant paying off her mortgage, sending her kids to college, maybe finally taking a vacation. She was so excited she could barely sleep. The next morning, she went to the lottery office to claim her prize. They verified her ticket. They took her information. They told her the money would be deposited into her bank account within 10 business days. Sarah floated out of that office, feeling like her entire life had just changed. And it had. Just not the way she expected. She called her sister Lisa that same day. They'd always been close, or so Sarah thought. She wanted to share the news with family. Lisa was thrilled for her. They talked for an hour about what Sarah would do with the money. Lisa gave advice, suggested financial planners, offered to help Sarah figure out taxes and investments. Sarah was grateful. She thought her sister was looking out for her. 3 days later, Sarah got a call from the lottery office. There was a problem with the deposit. They needed her to verify some information. Sarah called back immediately, and that's when her world collapsed. The lottery office told her the money had already been deposited into an account Sarah didn't recognize. They gave her the account number. Sarah insisted it wasn't hers. They told her that according to their records, it was the account she'd provided when claiming the prize. Sarah demanded to see the paperwork. The lottery office sent it over, and there it was, her signature on a claim form, except it wasn't her signature. It was close, very close, but it wasn't hers. And the bank account information listed on the form, it belonged to Lisa. Sarah called her sister. Lisa didn't answer. Sarah called again and again. Finally, Lisa picked up, and Sarah asked her directly if she'd taken the lottery money. Lisa laughed. She actually laughed. She told Sarah she had no idea what she was talking about. Sarah read her the account number. Lisa went quiet. Then she said something that made Sarah's blood run cold. Lisa told her that Sarah owed her this money, that Lisa had been supporting Sarah emotionally for years, that Sarah had borrowed money for her in the past and never paid it back, that this lottery win should have been split between them anyway because they were family. Lisa said she'd just taken what she deserved. Sarah hung up and immediately went to the bank. She brought the lottery paperwork. She showed them the forged signature. She explained what had happened. The bank told her they couldn't help. The money had been legally deposited based on the claim form submitted to the lottery office. If Sarah believed fraud had occurred, she needed to call the police. Sarah called the police. They took a report. They investigated. They compared signatures. They interviewed the lottery office staff. And they arrested Lisa 3 days later for forgery and theft. But the money was already gone. Lisa had transferred it out of the account immediately. $2 million went to an offshore account. The rest she spent on a new house, a luxury car, designer clothes, and a 2-week trip to the Maldives. When Sarah filed the civil suit to recover her money, Lisa showed up with an attorney and a completely different story. Lisa claimed Sarah had given her permission to claim the lottery ticket, that Sarah had been overwhelmed and asked Lisa to handle everything, that Sarah had promised Lisa half the money in exchange for her help. Lisa's attorney entered text messages into evidence that seemed to support this story. I read those messages carefully. Sarah had texted Lisa saying, "I can't believe this is happening. I don't know what to do." Lisa had responded, "Let me help you. I'll take care of everything." Sarah had replied, "Thank you so much. I don't know what I'd do without you." Lisa's attorney argued these texts proved Sarah had authorized Lisa to act on her behalf, that Lisa had claimed the ticket with Sarah's full knowledge and consent, that the money in Lisa's account was there legitimately, and any dispute about splitting it was a separate matter. But Sarah's attorney brought in the handwriting expert, the same expert who testified to the police. The expert showed side-by-side comparisons of Sarah's real signature and the signature on the lottery claim form. The differences were clear once you knew what to look for. The angle of certain letters, the pressure of the pen, the flow of the writing. It was a forgery. A good one, but still a forgery. I asked Lisa directly if she'd signed Sarah's name on that claim form. Her attorney jumped in before she could answer. He said Lisa had filled out the paperwork on Sarah's behalf with Sarah's permission, that Sarah had been too nervous to handle it herself. He claimed the signature issue was just a technicality. I asked where Sarah had been when this paperwork was supposedly filled out. Lisa said Sarah had been at work. I asked how Sarah could have given permission if she wasn't there. Lisa hesitated. She said they'd talked on the phone. Sarah had told her to go ahead and claim the ticket. Sarah's attorney immediately pulled phone records. There was no call between Sarah and Lisa on the day the claim form was submitted. In fact, there were no calls between them for 3 days before that. The phone records proved Lisa was lying. But Lisa's attorney had more tricks. He brought in financial records showing Sarah had borrowed $15,000 from Lisa 2 years earlier. Records showing Sarah had never paid it back. He argued that even if Lisa had overstepped by claiming the ticket, she was owed money anyway, and had simply collected what Sarah refused to pay. Sarah testified that the $15,000 wasn't a loan. It was a gift during Sarah's divorce when she was struggling financially. She said Lisa had specifically told her it was a gift, not a loan, and that she didn't need to pay it back. Sarah had emails to prove it. Emails where Lisa said, "Don't worry about paying me back. This is what family does." Lisa's attorney argued those emails were taken out of context, that Lisa had only meant Sarah didn't need to pay her back immediately, that there was always an understanding the money would be repaid eventually. I'd heard enough. I asked Lisa one simple question. Did you sign your sister's name on the lottery claim form without her physical presence or explicit verbal permission on that specific day? Lisa looked at her attorney. Her attorney told her not to answer, and that told me everything I needed to know. I called a recess and reviewed all the evidence, the forged signature, the lack of phone calls on the critical day, the text messages that were vague enough to be interpreted multiple ways, the money immediately transferred and spent, the changing stories. Lisa had stolen that lottery money. The evidence was overwhelming. But here's where it got complicated. The lottery office had released the funds based on what appeared to be legitimate paperwork. Lisa had the money, and she'd already spent most of it. Even if I ruled in Sarah's favor, collecting the judgment would be nearly impossible. The offshore accounts were untouchable. The house and car were in Lisa's name, and she could claim they were purchased with separate funds. Sarah's attorney argued that Lisa should be forced to liquidate everything, sell the house, sell the car, return every penny she'd taken. He asked for punitive damages on top of the actual theft. He wanted Lisa punished, not just financially, but legally. During my research, I discovered something that changed the entire case. Lisa had done this before. Not lottery fraud specifically, but identity theft. 6 years earlier, she'd opened credit cards in her ex-boyfriend's name and run up $40,000 in charges. The ex-boyfriend had pressed charges, but dropped them when Lisa agreed to pay restitution. She'd made 3 payments and then disappeared. He never saw another dime. I brought this up in court. Lisa's attorney objected. He said past civil matters weren't relevant. I overruled him. If Lisa had a pattern of stealing people's identities and forging signatures, that was absolutely relevant to whether she'd done it to her own sister. I asked Lisa about the credit card fraud. She refused to answer. Fifth Amendment again. Her attorney looked increasingly uncomfortable. He hadn't known about this prior case. You could see it on his face. Then Sarah's attorney did something brilliant. He subpoenaed Lisa's bank records from the day she received the lottery money. Those records showed something damning. Lisa had transferred the money in multiple transactions, specifically designed to avoid reporting requirements. She'd split the funds across different banks. She'd used wire transfers to move money internationally. She'd acted like someone who knew exactly what she was doing and wanted to hide it. These weren't the actions of someone who'd legitimately received money from her sister. These were the actions of someone who'd stolen it and was trying to make it disappear before getting caught. I also learned something that made this case even more heartbreaking. Sarah hadn't just won $3.2 million. That was the lump sum payout. If she'd taken the annuity option, it would have been $6.5 million over 20 years. But Lisa had claimed it as a lump sum to get the money faster. Sarah lost more than half the total value of her prize because her sister was in a hurry to steal from her. The trial lasted 3 weeks. Every day, Sarah sat in that courtroom watching her sister lie, watching Lisa's attorney twist the facts, watching the money she'd won slip further and further out of reach. And every day, Lisa sat there with that same smug expression, like she was entitled to this, like Sarah was the unreasonable one for wanting her own lottery winnings back. The worst moment came when Lisa took the stand and testified that Sarah was a bad mother, that she spent money irresponsibly, that giving her $3 million would have been dangerous. Lisa actually argued she'd done Sarah a favor by taking the money, that she was protecting Sarah from herself. Sarah broke down. She'd been holding it together for weeks, but hearing her sister say those things destroyed her. Her attorney called a recess. Sarah sobbed in the hallway. She told me later that the money didn't even matter anymore. What mattered was that her sister, her only sibling, the person she trusted most in the world, had betrayed her and then tried to justify it by attacking her character. When we reconvened, I made my ruling. I found that Lisa had committed fraud, that she'd forged Sarah's signature, that she'd stolen $3.2 million, that every dollar in her possession belonged to Sarah. I ordered complete restitution plus interest, plus damages for emotional distress. The total came to $3.8 million. I ordered Lisa to liquidate all assets purchased with the stolen funds, the house, the car, everything. I froze her bank accounts. I put liens on any property she owned. And I referred the case to the district attorney for criminal prosecution. Lisa's face finally showed emotion. Panic. Her attorney stood up to object, but I cut him off. I said Lisa had committed one of the most calculated thefts I'd ever seen. She'd stolen from her own sister. She'd forged documents. She'd hidden money internationally. She'd lied repeatedly under oath, and she'd shown zero remorse. But I wasn't done. I also awarded Sarah attorney's fees, every penny she'd spent fighting to get her own money back. Lisa would have to pay all of it. The criminal case moved forward quickly. The DA charged Lisa with forgery, grand theft, money laundering, and perjury. The evidence was overwhelming. Lisa tried to negotiate a plea deal, but the DA wasn't interested. This case had made news. A sister stealing a lottery jackpot. The public was outraged. The DA wanted a trial. The jury convicted Lisa on all counts. She was sentenced to 8 years in prison. The judge called it one of the most egregious cases of family betrayal he'd seen. Lisa cried during sentencing, not because she was sorry, because she was going to prison. But here's the thing about getting a judgment against someone who's already spent the money. It's nearly impossible to collect. Sarah did get the house and the car when they were sold. That gave her about $600,000. The offshore accounts were unreachable. The money Lisa had spent on the trip and clothes and restaurants was gone forever. Sarah recovered less than 20% of what was stolen from her. $3.2 million. That's what Sarah won. After legal fees and the partial recovery from asset sales, she ended up with about $400,000. Better than nothing, but nowhere close to what should have been hers. And the emotional cost was incalculable. Sarah lost her sister, her only sibling. They'd grown up together, shared secrets, been each other's support through divorces and difficult times. All of that was gone. Lisa had destroyed their relationship for money she didn't even get to keep. I thought about this case for months after it ended, about what makes someone capable of that level of betrayal. Lisa wasn't desperate. She had a job. She wasn't facing homelessness or starvation. She stole because she wanted things. A nicer house, a fancy car, a luxury vacation. She looked at her sister's good fortune and decided she deserved it more. The entitlement was staggering. Lisa genuinely believed Sarah owed her, that years of being sisters meant Sarah's lottery win should be shared, that taking the money wasn't theft, but collection of a debt. She'd convinced herself of a complete fiction and destroyed her life to maintain that delusion. What haunts me most is how fast it happened. Sarah won the lottery on a Tuesday. By Friday, her sister had forged documents and stolen the money. 3 days, that's all it took for Lisa to plan and execute a $3 million theft of her own sister. And the planning that went into it. Lisa didn't just forge a signature. She researched how to hide money. She set up offshore accounts in advance. She knew exactly how to structure transactions to avoid detection. This wasn't impulsive. This was calculated. Lisa had been thinking about how to steal money long before Sarah won the lottery. She was just waiting for an opportunity. Sarah told me something after the trial that broke my heart. She said the worst part wasn't losing the money. It was realizing Lisa had never actually loved her. Because someone who loves you doesn't do this. Someone who cares about you doesn't forge your signature and steal your future. Sarah said she felt like her entire childhood was a lie. Like every memory with Lisa was tainted by the knowledge of what Lisa was capable of. That's the real damage of these crimes. They don't just take money. They destroy your understanding of reality. They make you question every relationship, every trust, every belief you have about family and love and loyalty. Sarah's kids were devastated too. They'd looked up to their aunt. They'd loved her. And she'd stolen their college funds, their mother's security, their future, for a house and a car she lost anyway. Lisa got out of prison after serving 6 years. I heard she moved to another state, changed her name, started over. I don't know if she ever apologized to Sarah. I don't know if she ever understood what she'd done. Some people never do. Sarah is still working as a nurse, still doing double shifts. She used the $400,000 she recovered to pay off some debt and start college funds for her kids. But she'll never retire early. She'll never take that dream vacation. She'll never have the financial security that lottery win should have given her. All because her sister decided that money was more important than family. The scariest part of this case is how easily it could happen to anyone. You buy a lottery ticket. You win. You tell someone you trust, and that person sees an opportunity instead of celebrating with you. That person makes a calculation about what they can take before you notice. And if they're smart enough and fast enough, they might succeed. Lisa almost did succeed. If Sarah hadn't immediately questioned the account number, if she hadn't pushed for investigation, if she hadn't had the resources to hire an attorney and fight back, Lisa would have kept that money. She'd be living in that house right now, driving that car, living off Sarah's lottery win. And that's what keeps me up at night. How many cases like this never make it to court? How many people get away with it? How many families are destroyed by theft that never gets reported or prosecuted? The law gave Sarah partial justice. We got her some money back. We sent Lisa to prison. But we couldn't restore what was really lost. Trust, family, the future Sarah should have had. Those things were gone forever. I learned something important from this case. Lottery wins destroy as many lives as they improve. Not because of the money itself, but because of how people react to it. Suddenly, everyone around you sees dollar signs. Family members you trusted start calculating what they're owed. Friends come out of the woodwork with requests and expectations. And some people, like Lisa, decide they're entitled to take what isn't theirs. Sarah made one mistake. She told her sister about the win before the money was secure. She trusted family. She wanted to share her joy, and that trust was weaponized against her. If there's anything I want people to take from this case, it's this. If you win the lottery, tell no one until the money is in your account. Not family, not friends, no one. Get the money secure first. Hire a financial advisor and an attorney before you tell anyone. Protect yourself before you celebrate, because the people you trust most might be the ones who hurt you worst. And if you're someone who learns that a family member won money, check your reaction. If your first thought is what you're owed, if you start calculating what they should give you, if you feel entitled to any of it, stop. That money isn't yours. That blessing isn't yours to take. Be happy for them or say nothing at all. But don't let greed turn you into someone who destroys the people you're supposed to love. Lisa made her choice. She chose money over her sister. She chose greed over love. She chose 8 years in prison and a lifetime of shame over being happy for Sarah's good fortune. And now she lives with those consequences. Sarah made her choice too. She chose to fight back. She chose justice over silence. She chose to make sure Lisa faced consequences, even though it meant airing family pain in public. And because of that choice, Lisa didn't get away with it. But both sisters lost. Sarah lost most of her money and her only sibling. Lisa lost her freedom and her family. Nobody won. That's what these cases always come down to. When families turn on each other over money, everybody loses. The money gets spent or seized or lost in legal fees. The relationships die, and what's left is just wreckage. I think about Sarah sometimes. I wonder if she still plays the lottery. I wonder if she's ever forgiven her sister. I doubt it. Some betrayals are too deep. Some wounds never heal. What I know for certain is that Sarah deserved better. She deserved to enjoy her winnings. She deserved family who celebrated with her instead of stealing from her. She deserved the life that $3 million should have bought her. Instead, she got betrayal. She got legal battles. She got a sister in prison and a fraction of what should have been hers. And all of it because Lisa looked at Sarah's lottery ticket and saw an opportunity to take instead of a reason to celebrate. That's the tragedy of this case. It didn't have to happen. If Lisa had just been happy for her sister, if she'd offered genuine help instead of plotting theft, if she'd chosen love over greed, Sarah would still have her money, and Lisa would still have her freedom. Both sisters would still have each other, but Lisa made a different choice. and now both of them live with the consequences. Sarah without her winnings, Lisa without her family, both of them without the relationship they once had. Money destroys people. Not having it, wanting it, losing it. Money brings out the worst in people more reliably than almost anything else. And lottery wins, those sudden massive windfalls, they're like throwing gasoline on every relationship problem that already exists. Sarah's case taught me that. It taught me to be skeptical of family disputes over money. It taught me that blood doesn't guarantee loyalty. It taught me that some people will betray anyone for the right price. And it taught me that justice, even when it happens, doesn't fix everything that's broken. Sarah got her day in court. She got a judgment. She got her sister sent to prison, but she didn't get her money back. Not really. And she definitely didn't get her sister back. Justice happened, but it wasn't enough to make things right. That's the hardest part of this job. Knowing that the law has limits, that courts can punish wrongdoing but can't undo harm, that justice exists, but it's often incomplete, insufficient, unable to truly restore what was taken. Sarah deserved complete justice. She deserved all $3 million back with interest. She deserved her sister to genuinely apologize and face the magnitude of her betrayal. She deserved her family relationship to somehow survive this. She didn't get any of that. What she got was partial restitution, a criminal conviction, and permanent family destruction. Better than nothing, but so much less than what she deserved. And that's what I think about when I remember this case. Not what justice achieved, but what it couldn't fix. The money that's still gone, the trust that's still broken, the sister relationship that's still dead. Lisa stole $3 million from Sarah. But what she really took was so much more than money. She took Sarah's joy in winning. She took her sense of security. She took her belief that family means something. She took everything that mattered and left Sarah with nothing but anger and loss. And for what? A house Lisa doesn't own anymore, a car that was seized, a vacation she can't even remember clearly, 8 years in prison, a criminal record, a family that disowned her. Lisa traded everything meaningful for temporary luxuries she didn't even get to keep. That's what greed does. It blinds you to consequences. It makes you believe you can take what you want without paying a price. It turns you into someone who destroys the people you love and calls it justified. Lisa learned too late that the price is always higher than the gain, that theft brings temporary benefit but permanent cost, that breaking trust takes seconds but rebuilding it takes forever. Sarah learned something too, that lottery wins aren't always blessings, that money changes people, that the sister she thought she knew was capable of things she never imagined. Hard lessons, painful lessons, lessons that cost her millions of dollars and her only sibling. I hope someone reads this story and makes a different choice. I hope someone feels that pull of greed and remembers what happened to Lisa. I hope someone trusts their family member's good fortune instead of trying to take it. Because the pattern will repeat. Someone else will win the lottery. Someone else will tell family. Someone else will get betrayed. It's already happening somewhere. It will keep happening. Human nature doesn't change. But maybe one person will choose differently. Maybe one family will stay intact. Maybe one lottery winner will get to enjoy their money without betrayal. That would be something. That would mean Sarah's pain wasn't completely meaningless. That's what I hold on to from this case. The hope that sharing it prevents even one betrayal. That somewhere, somehow, this story makes someone think twice before stealing from family. It's a small hope, but it's something. And in cases like this, something is all we've got.